Welcome to Strip Down Sunday. We are Soul Evolution Collaborative, and this is where we unchurch your Sunday experience. Welcome. We are thrilled to have you here with us at this time to offer some inspiration, some spiritual upliftment, and hopefully a new take on life in a uniquely Soul Evolution Collaborative kind of way. We have stripped down the Sunday morning experience to offer you a streamlined experience that fits your needs. So if we have this strong desire to bring an updated message of inspiration to the world at a time when it seems that we need it the most. Soul Evolution Collaborative is dedicated to personal transformation, which leads to communal evolution. So two very quick logistics to get out of the way before we really jump in. One, everything you could want to know about Soul Evolution Collaborative and our community is available at soulevolutioncollaborative.org. We will also put that link into the chat. Hey, good morning, Frank and Ryan. So the link should be posting here in just a moment. So feel free to click over there, open a tab, and poke around while we're talking here today. So it is with communities with mission like ours that brings change to the world. We are actively creating a new earth and ways of life that benefit everyone. So if you are in any way able to help continue this mission, we appreciate your support. You can make a donation tax deductible at soulevolutioncollaborative.org. The link is in the chat now, and let's jump in. So this week we are talking about pause and find the cause. So for anybody that's new to the science of mind philosophy or new thought philosophy, let's just get this out in the open. One of the things that we're talking about is that we are able to create our reality with our mind. The thoughts that we hold are shaping the experience that we have all around us. Now, one of the pitfalls that we can fall into when we first start understanding and learning this, and even like with movies like The Secret that brought the law of attraction to the masses, what can happen when we're just kind of diving in and learning like that we are powerful creative beings is that we can assign blame and guilt to things that really aren't true and really don't benefit us. So, what is it that causes cancer in one person? What is it that made that car accident happen? These are questions that are, important to ask. And like I say, the risk is, when we're new to this and learning that our thoughts create a reality, we can place blame on ourselves. Like, wow, I must have made that happen because something in my subconscious wanted that to happen. And it's toxic, essentially, is what it is. We don't want to do that, but we do want to use this power. So how do we do that? And how does this dynamic play out? Because people want to know, like, why do those things happen? If we're creating our reality, why does it happen? And essentially, it's complicated. So I want to draw our attention to today. Today is the 13th of February, Super Bowl Sunday. There's a big game tonight. Now, there's two teams, over 50 players on each team. And I guarantee you, they are all visualizing themselves, putting everything into it, seeing that victory. They're already in their minds going to Disneyland. But at the end of the night, for half of those people, it's not going to be the outcome that they wanted. So, who was it that had negative thoughts in their subconscious that created the loss? Was it the quarterback? Was it every single player must have had some drawback in their underlying beliefs that said that they weren't worthy of winning? Or maybe it was that one guy who's had the season tickets on the 50-yard line for 30 years in Cincinnati. Today, he's wearing his lucky socks, so he single-handedly manifests the win for the Bengals tonight. Is that how it works? Obviously, it's not. It's all complicated. We say everything happens in mind, but we need to remind ourselves, yes, we have mind. Yes, we have creative power with the thoughts and the practices that we hold. But ultimately, what happens in mind, we are talking about the one mind. All consciousness comes from this one place, the one infinite mind of which we are all individualized, essential little pinpoints of that consciousness. So yes, we hold lots of power to we don't single-handedly create our entire reality because we are here in this collective experience on this planet, all interacting in unique and wonderful ways. So going back to that example of, when we manifest something that I'm going to use the words and air quotes to say something bad. I'll get more to that later. But when something like that happens and we want to jump into that place of blame or feelings of guilt of how I manifested, think about it. So if you have gotten into a car accident, you're not the only one there. We are interacting. So while your soul is going through this experience, your essence of who you are, there's another person involved. What are they? What's their experience bringing to them? What about like the police officer that shows up that day, or everybody that drives by? Maybe this accident here is preventing somebody else from having an accident because it reminded that person driving by that I need to be really careful. I have been just driving mindlessly. All these little things. It's intricate and interwoven and amazing. And that's why we come into this physical experience. Spiritual beings having this physical experience is to experience and to go through all these ups and downs, ways of growing, learning, and expansion. And that's what the science of mind is really all about, is that we are awakening to our deeper nature and recognizing the power and control and just sheer joy of experiencing infinite potential. So when I used the air quotes and I said, when that something bad happens, how do we know it's bad? Maybe that thing that was so challenging for us is actually the absolute most perfect thing that we could have experienced at that moment. We never know. And we're just here to experience it. So we need to, thank you, Frank, we need to lay back and absorb, experience those things that happen. How do we know that they are supposed to have happened? Eckhart Tolle points this out very perfectly. We know because it did happen. So it's not our job to lay blame and guilt on these things that have caused us pain and challenge. It's our job to lean into it and say, what's this about? What do I learn? Where can I grow? So this is where the idea for this week is pause and find the cause. We're never going to know exactly, and we're not manifesting everything exactly just by ourselves. But there is insights available most of the time if we can just calm ourselves, go within. That's the pause. Just taking a deep breath. Close your eyes. A few deep breaths. Let it out slowly. You're shifting your state of being when you do this. And then ask yourself, what is it that I am here to experience and learn from this thing? What is it? What's the opportunity here to fully lean into this and embrace it? This is a powerful experience. And ultimately, this is how we bring more of that spiritual realm into this physical world that we are in. It's a magical thing that we are doing down here. So let's appreciate and enjoy it, the full spectrum of all those things. Like I said, when that thing that we said is so challenging, like it might be the greatest thing that ever happened to us. It reminds me of this, one of my favorite lines from any movie, and it's from the second of the Bruce Almighty series. It's Evan Almighty. And Evan is, the modern day Noah, and he's talking to God. It's Morgan Freeman and saying, I want to give up. I can't do this. Why is all this happening to me? And Morgan Freeman replies, if you ask God for more patience, does God just give you patience, or does he give you opportunities to be more patient? Everything that we are here experiencing, everything is all contributing to our own individual growth and expansion, and collectively, by default, we are all part of that collective thing. So how do we then take this pause and this idea and apply it into creating the world that we want to see? This is powerful. The idea is to keep awareness that, yes, we are co-creating. Yes, there is one mind. And visualizing what it is we want to see. So every time that we go within, that we take that pause, one, science tells us that just taking a break, just sitting down, even if it's only for 15 seconds, we shift our physiology just a little by just taking a deep, conscious breath. And when you shift that physiology just a little, you show up a little differently into the world than if you had not done that. You have just changed the world, my friend. That's powerful. Now, Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my favorite teachers, recently made his transition out of this physical existence into the hereafter, whatever that is. And that being said, I wanted to watch one of his videos. It came up in my YouTube feed, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. You know, I love Thich Nhat Hanh. I share a birthday with him. I feel very close to him. He's just one of the modern day masters that I feel lucky to have, stumbled across his path at one point. And this message came up to me in 3 different ways. It came up in a book that I was reading for a class. It came up in a podcast I was listening to, and then it came up in this message from Thich Nhat Hanh. And the gist of it is, Thich Nhat Hanh said, go within. Anytime that you go within, you're connecting to that deeper thing. Like, we are spiritual beings having the human experience, but we forget that sometimes. And we just go running around through this physical existence, from one thing to the next, and we don't stop, and we don't remember that we are that bigger thing, and that we are sharing that bigger thing with all of us. So anytime that you remember to pause and go within and take a break, you are essentially connecting consciously with that spirit. And then when you come back out of that pause, you're bringing a little of that spirit with you into this physical experience that we're all sharing. It's that hybrid thing that we are creating now, though, as we talk about this new earth, a new way of being on this planet. This is how it's done, is by bringing more of that deeper nature, because that deeper nature is caring, it's compassionate, it's abundant, it is sharing of our resources, knowing that we are all in this together, and what we do for the least of those among us, we do for all of us. The masters of all the time have taught us this. And I think one of the things that I would like to address with this is the idea of, pray for your enemies, love your enemies. That is one of the hardest things to do. But the more that we're able to go into that place of spirit, the more that we can remind ourselves that there are no enemies. There only is spirit. There's only that one mind. And each individual being on this planet is a manifestation of that, all co-creating this experience of infinite and constant expansion and this upward spiral that Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, talks about. We are on this constant path of evolution. We are all going to end up at the same place, but we all get there in our own unique individual ways. And that's what makes this richness so vast and so diverse and so much excitement and joy. If it was any other way, this whole thing would be pretty boring in my mind. So how do we create this world that we want to visualize? Well, I want to talk about pause and be the cause. And I want to apply it to these places where we see others, those other people that we, are butting heads with, that we clearly see are doing things completely wrong. There is definitely stuff that I feel is completely wrong. And I don't condone it. I don't okay it. I don't stay silent about it, but I don't let my energy within go to that place to where I see them as less than that spirit. Now, of course, I'm not perfect, and this is a constant process, a constant reminding myself to remember that, because quite often I do get upset and I do forget that those others are actually another manifestation of spirit. But the more times I remember, like Thich Nhat Hanh said, each time that you go in, you bring some of that spirit back. So the more often we're able to do that, it shifts our being and we show up differently. And there is power in this, because the energy that we hold is the energy that we exude around us. So if we're walking around We have read the news, and we are now in a fearful state of consciousness, worrying about the future of mankind, a future for our children, for our children's children, for all of humanity. We're carrying with us a fear, and we're placing that fear in part of the collective consciousness, where we have two different outcomes that can come about, or infinite outcomes really on that spectrum, but the energy that we hold is powerful. So instead of holding animosity towards those others, if we can go within and visualize the people that are potentially causing mass destruction on this planet, causing others harm, who are discriminating, causing fear and pain, all of the things that we clearly don't want in our experience, if we can just go within and visualize and say, without judgment, without labeling, and saying, there, but for the grace of God go I want to picture that person surrounded by the infinite golden white light. I want to see them as a child of the divine, and knowing that the highest and best that spirit has to offer, the highest and best for that individual, is happening now. May that happen. May that be my prayer. May that be my wish. Because if the highest and best for anybody, whatever the highest and best is for you, is the highest and best for everybody. Whatever is the highest and best for me is for everybody. And whatever is the highest and best for, some foreign leader who is, threatening mass war, it's the highest and best for that person is the highest and best for everybody. And so this is why, and it's clear that in the beginning, the masters of all times, they have all shared that same message, that we need to be able to pray for, air quotes, our enemies. There really are no enemies. There's only us. There's only the one mind, and that's what we are all here to do. So this is what I want to leave us with today, is pause and be the cause. In the beginning, as we start this practice, to remind ourselves to go within and ask, what is the cause? What do I want to be? Those challenges that come up for us that are hard, that cause pain, that lead to suffering if we are not able to work through them, those tough moments, those are the perfect reminders. Use them as like a little bell to, when something's going on, say, okay, I'm going to just take a minute. I'm going to go into my private space, close my eyes, and just go within and let it be. Observe it. What is it? What is it telling me? What is here? And it's not like we're looking for cause of blame that somehow I made this happen, but we're looking to see, what does this tell me about what's going on with myself? And quite often we find some thought that we were holding on to that is not serving us. Using those moments. And the more often that we do that, and we bring more of that spirit back with us, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, it becomes part of our being and our energy and what we carry. And then we start to remember to do it in the good moments. Again, air quotes, it's all good. But we get to remember it in those times where we're not challenged. We start to bring conscious co-creation more and more into our space. And this is a powerful thing. So just throughout the days, I'm going to use the example. I have been working part-time in a deli to bring a little more financial augmentation into our life. And it's bringing up these perfect opportunities for me to do this. I will make a sub sandwich for somebody, throw it into the toaster, and print out a label to get things moving, and I still end up with 15 seconds every time I do that. And I remind myself, oh, this is perfect. I'm taking a breath, and I'm connecting with the essence of what is here within me. And then I am allowing the image of a peaceful world to rise up within me and to emanate out from me. And I just think positive thoughts for those around me. Does that actually shift anything out in the world? I like to believe so, but scientifically, we don't have proof of that I'm aware of. But I know it shifts something in my being. And so the way that I show up and interact with people for the rest of the day, every time I do that, is better. I show up more present, more patient, and more calm. This is pause and be the cause. Visualize what it is we want to see in our life. Counterbalance every negative thought you have with 3 positive ones. There is power in that, because the negative energy, the negative thoughts that we have, and the fear can keep us down, can keep us reactionary and acting in ways that does not bring more of that compassion and peace into this world. So just remembering constantly, as often as you can, even a 10-second pause here, a 10-second pause in an hour, and also, doing our inner work as much as you're able to as part of your daily practice. These are the ways that we're bringing more of that spirit into this world to create this shift in consciousness on this planet that will bring in a new way of being on this planet. We're seeing the old ways die, and that's painful as it's happening. It's bringing up all the muck. This is how it happens in our individual spiritual growth and personal transformation. And it happens the same way in society, as society is going through its spiritual growth and transformation. So hang in there. Don't let the news suck you in. It's okay to stay informed, of course. Granted, I'm not here to tell you what's okay. You know that better than me. But as we do take in that stuff that causes fear, remind yourself that, one, if there's not something you can directly do for it, try not to let yourself stay in a depressed state of mind over that fear. Counter it. Just bring in images of things that you appreciate about life, things that you find beautiful, a beautiful tree, a beautiful view, a family member, a beloved pet, all kinds of different things. Just constantly remind yourself, like, in this very moment, right now where I'm at, things are okay. And I can draw and just hold a little bit of peace from that image. And every time that we do this, you are contributing to our collective experience, and that is making the world a better place. So for you doing your work, I say thank you. If you're checking this out and you made it this far through the message, thank you. The world is a magical place, and we do have massive amounts of power of how we affect it. We are the change makers. You are the change makers. So just encourage us to remember, pause, go within, ask questions about what it is I want to see, what it is that maybe can shift in me, and then just be that the best that you can. So let's just take this in and cement it, because we know our thoughts have power over our collective consciousness. So as we're able to go within and bring up an image of planet Earth, bring up an image pulling back of the universe, recognizing that there is this swirling mass of consciousness that is throughout it all, that's holding it all together, whatever you want to call this energy, this essence. I see it as spirit or God, but it's the infinite. It's the source of all that is. It is the essence of all that is. Whatever it is here and now. It is everywhere present. It is in everything present. It is exactly what I am thinking with, what I am speaking with. It is that same thing. So as we draw this image of a world that brings more peace, more compassion, more love to everyone, recognizing that this is an abundant planet, that there is more than enough for everyone, when we just remember that there are no others, that we are all one. So when we lift up one, we lift up the many. So recognizing that our thoughts are like little drops in this bucket of collective consciousness of goodwill, that there is a shift happening on this planet, and it begins in the hearts of each and every one of us. So as we draw our attention to it, our energies connect and then ignite into this bigger fire of energy over this planet that continues to wake up and stir feelings of compassion and kindness and equity and love and inclusion, and just respecting and appreciating each and every unique spark of the divine that is here on this planet right now. So as we go throughout this next week, may this inspiration continue to rise within you, to remember and remind us to go within, to bring a little bit of that spirit back into this physical existence all around us, to make this world into a new way of being, to let the old ways of control by the few, of hoarding of the resources by the few, to shift into new ways of being that lift up everyone, and recognizing how for everyone Even those that seem to have everything right now, that even their lives are enhanced and enriched by moving into this new way of being that enables each and every person to be their fullest expression of the divine here and now. So I just acknowledge gratitude for each and every person who's doing their personal work right now, who's taking that personal work, who's taking that spirit that they brought back into this life, into the world around them. For each and every peacemaker, visionary, way shower, I just say thank you so much. And I know that we are creating a new earth, that we are seeing it unfold before our eyes right now through each and every one of us doing our work. So knowing that that is already done in the mind of spirit, that it is inevitable to see it in this physical world, I just say thank you, and I let these words go, knowing that it is already so, it is already done, and I affirm it by saying, and so it is. So it is. So thank you everybody for being here. We are making the world a better place through people like you. Come check out Soul Evolution Collaborative, sign up, come join the conversation on Thursday nights, and just keep doing the work best you can and enjoy the ride. Peace and be well, my friends.